In the year 13,748 IRC, the Universal Collective of Allied Planets and Systems was formed. They like to romanticize it, paintings of groups coming together in splendid chambers to discuss laws and legislation and to create a better life for the people in their care. The truth is less forgiving. Helena Lacaius, the woman who first conceived the collective, began her secession with a rousing speech to all within the Imperium, and when her speech ended, hell broke loose. 309 men, women, and children died when her speech concluded, most of them in a few simple minutes. The Night of 1,000 Tears tore the Malcarn Dynasty apart. Betrayals and poisonings and sabotage and assassinations, that's how they gutted the dynasty that had ruled for nearly 14,000 years. There was but one survivor of that night, my friend, my emperor, Ardanius Malcarn. Callias and I kept him safe. They attempted to assassinate him using members of my personal guard. Unfortunately for them, my emperor does not die so easily. We didn't know what had happened. We just knew that men and women had tried to kill the crown prince of the Malcarn Imperium, and so we spirited him away. Commandeered some junk scrap metal of a ship and flew it to Capitalium. Just the three of us. No knights, no guard of the blood, just us. It took us over a month to get back. We didn't know who to trust, and we didn't know if we were going to die if we said the wrong thing to the wrong person. It was an intense month. I never knew if I was safe or in danger. I grew accustomed to that feeling of constant unease, never knowing if this day would be my last. When we finally arrived on Capitalium, it was amidst chaos and collusion. Already several members of the Pinnacle Order were staking their claim to the throne, declaring that only they could lead the Imperium now that the Malcarns were all dead. Luckily for them, the Principaics remembered their oaths, and they swore that any man or woman claiming the throne would be struck down before they took a step. Ardanius' mother and her own Imperial champion had both been killed. With no Malcarn around, the Guard of the Blood heeded the commands of the Principaics, and the Imperial Palace had been locked down. All members of the Pinnacle Order who were on Capitalium had been sequestered and placed under guard. Desperately, the Principaics searched for salvation. They found it when we returned with Ardanius. He was alive, he was Malcarn, and so he would be Emperor. They crowned him that day, with the imprisoned Lord Sovereigns brought to attend the coronation. Many grumbled, but the sheathed Etanas and plas rifles of the guard kept their objections at a whisper. And, in the end, all knelt before the Emperor of the Malcarn Imperium, Emperor Ardanius Malcarn, 7th of his name. He was crowned within the greatest calamity the Imperium had ever faced before, though none of us knew it at the time. The Universal Collective would become the greatest threat to the Imperium's very survival we'd ever faced. With over a third of the galaxy in their control, we were in a perilous position. Ardanius, new to power, and the Lord Sovereigns plotting to enrich themselves and hoping to amass more influence. We were divided, and we needed unity and strength. In the wake of the disastrous events that had unfolded, there was peace for a time. Both the Collective and the Imperium needed time to ready themselves. For a few short years, we did just that. I was named Ardanius' Imperial Champion, named the first knight within the Order of the Principaic Knights. To replace those who had died, new knights were raised to the Order, and we were whole again. And then Ardanius ordered me forth, at the head of our armadas, to crush the secession and bring order back to our Imperium. I began my journey in what would become known as the Shattered Campaign, with a feeling of wanderlust and adventure. By the time it was over, I returned looking like a man risen from the dead. Such, I presume, is the cost of war.